Good evening. We're continuing the series, the Talmud series. Today it's number 30. And if you remember, last week we spoke about visiting the sick people, taking 1/60th of his misery. Also charity for a boy or a girl. If the father passed away, who comes first? And the last statement that we made, Rabbi Akiva says, everyone who visiting the sick, reviving him, make him alive. And if he's not, he's making him die. Thank you. That's where we left it last week. We're continuing, Baruch Hashem. We in Masechet Nedarim. As you know, and last week we finished Ketubot, we started Nedarim. Today we continue in Masechet Nedarim. Amra bat Kesar le Rabbi Yoshua ben Hanania. Remember, in a time of the second temples, after the destruction, came the Romans to Israel, and they were in charge. You see Roman soldiers everywhere on the Holy Land. And the princess, the daughter of the Caesar, she came to Rabbi Yoshua ben Hanania. He's a very big chacham, but it was the opposite of good looking. I don't want to say ugly, because when you have such a holy man, you don't want to mess with him. But it wasn't exactly a very handsome man, okay? It wasn't Rabbi Yochanan. Gemara says Rabbi Yochanan was a very good-looking man. No, he wasn't so. So she come to pick on him. She want to make fun. She comes to him and say, Rabbi, such marvelous Torah in such an ugly utensil? So he say, you learn to talk from your father, huh? Lamadet mi bet avich. No, that's really not what he told her. He was telling her, don't you know that the answer to your question is right in your father's house? What's the connection? You come to a person, you say to him, how come such beautiful intelligence in such an ugly body or such an ugly head? So he answered to you, get the answer to your question in your own house. What's the answer? Listen good. He asked her, where is your father putting his wine? She say, in barrels. What kind of barrels? Ceramic. Like everybody else, she said. Ceramic barrels. He told her, isn't it a shame? Every poor person put his wine in ceramic barrels. And your father is the king, he put his wine in the same barrels? You should have put it in silver and in gold. That everybody know that belongs to the king. Okay, the wine of the king in ceramic? She said, you have a point. I'll bring it to my father. She came to her father, she said, Kule alma bemani defachra va'atun bemani defachra. All the world is putting in ceramic barrels and we put in the same thing. Right away they brought kaspa and dahava. Kaspa it's silver, kesef, and dahav it's zahav. In Aramaic it's similar to Hebrew. No, so they brought gold and silver. Azla veramat chamra bemani dechasfa vedahava. All the wine became vinegar. When you put wine in silver, come 6-7 hours later, becomes sour vinegar. I wonder if that's how they make vinegar in our days. No? It's really very quick. In a few hours you already taste like it's very sour. So he came to her, he said, who told you that? She said, Rabbi Yoshua ben Hanania. She said, bring him over. He caused us fortune of damage. So he brought him in, he said, you gave my daughter this foolish advice to put the wine in silver and gold? He said, she started with me. He told him what she said. So the king forgot his anger. He was so delighted that his daughter made fun of the Jewish rabbi. So he started to smile. He said, But after all, do you have an answer to her question? So this was his answer. If I was handsome, I wouldn't become Rabbi Yoshua ben Hanania. The only reason I'm a giant scholar is because I'm ugly. Believe me, if I was handsome, you wouldn't see me here. So he told him, why? You couldn't be handsome and smart at the same time? No contradiction. He told him, no, I could. But when I am ugly, I'm twice as good. Yeah, I could be a chacham. But women, these friends, take me here, take me there. I have some ego, show my face around, confidence. I'm busy with nonsense. That reminds me about Yosef HaTzadik. He was such a good-looking person, Joseph in Egypt, that the Egyptian princess used to throw their face on the floor just to look at his face. But he was walking like this all day around, that nobody will see him. He doesn't want to see them, and he doesn't want them to look at his face. So they would throw themselves on the floor just to take a look, 1 second on his face. That's how pretty he was. So Eshet Potiphar, the wife of Potiphar, she used to bring her friends, they used to sit and eat etrogim. Etrog. How do you say etrog in English? There's a word for it? Etrog. In English, there's any word for it?
Religious lemon. It's close to lemon family.
Yeah, I know it's in the lemon family.
There's no English word.
Yeah, I always say there's few words, they are too holy to be to have a name for it in English. So anyway, they used to eat etrogim, which is a very expensive thing, fruit, It's very delicate, it's very hard to grow. No, it's no wonder we pay hundreds of dollars for them in Sukkot, no? What is it? Looks like a lemon, you pay 80, 90, 100, $200. It's crazy. So what happened is, they used to cut them to slices. So the Gemara said when he walked into the room, he didn't know the girls are there. They all looked at him. They were so shocked from his beauty, they cut their fingers off. They were cutting with the knife, and they looked at him. They were so shocked that some of them cut their fingers off. So the Gemara said that every handsome man that he dies, then his trial begins like every other person. The trial begins right away. The soul goes up to heaven, begin 1 year trial. So Hashem asked the person, why didn't you learn Torah every day? So what is the answer going to be? It's your fault. You made me such a good-looking guy. Everywhere I go, women come to talk to me. They find excuses. They come, no, so how are you? So how's the weather? How do you feel? How's your mother? How's your grandmother? Story. They just want a reason to talk to me. And that took away all my time. So Hashem right away showed him a movie of Yosef. How the women were screaming and he was running away from them instead of wasting time. So he said, you are more handsome than him? He said, no, I look like a monkey compared to him. He said, so he didn't waste time. He was busy with holy things. Right away, the handsome people would hide from the embarrassment. Sometimes a person may consider to be a chacham. Let's say you go to a place, everybody holds a view of a chacham. What does a chacham mean? A high-level scholar in Torah, right? He knows a lot of Torah. So everyone respects him because him compared to the people is a much big difference. The people hardly know 1% of what he knows, so everyone looks up to him. What happened if one day a much bigger chacham come to town? What happened to the people? They say, I can't believe we admire this guy. This guy compared to the new chacham, it's like comparing a monkey to a person. Up to now, he was also a person. Now he became a monkey. What made him look like a monkey? Somebody else came, and now they see the difference. It's not only in wisdom, it's also in beauty, in money, right? If a person is rich, I don't know, let's say he has $5 million. Wow, everyone is poor here, they hardly pay the rent. And this guy has $5 million in his account. Ooh, what a rich guy. One day Donald Trump moved to the neighborhood. What happened to this guy? They dump him from the window. Get out of here, you poor guy. Well, yesterday I was rich, today I'm poor. Yeah, we thought you're rich. Now we understand what wealth is. Get out of here. That's what it is. Everything in life is compared to what? It's relative. It's all depends. People ask you, are you chacham? Compared to who? Are you rich? Compared to who? Are you ugly? Compared to who? Everything the answer will be yes, and the answer will be no. Somebody come to and say, are you a wise guy? You can answer yes, you can answer no, and both of them you don't lie. If you say yes, compared to the monkeys in a safari, I'm handsome. If you say no, compared to all these nice looking guy, you're really not. So it's all comparison. It's comparing to who? So that's one of the reasons, unfortunately today, is one thing really gets me upset, sad, angry, frustrated, desperate, everything you want to call it, it's true, is seeing people that's supposed to be holy, what we call today rabbis, rabbis of communities, rabbis of organizations, rabbis of shuls, rabbis of yeshivas, doesn't matter. Don't get me wrong, not everyone is like this. But you see some big percentage of them will never let speakers from outside come to speak in their community. They'll use every trick, every politic they can to avoid certain speakers to speak in their community. Why? Once he will speak once in their community, it will be the end of them over there. And they know it. Because then the people will say, we admire this guy. He's a complete fool compared to that speaker. How we admire this guy when there's so much better. Let's replace him. Let's get somebody much better. Now, you may say, well, so they have a point. They don't want to lose their job, no? They don't want to get fired. The answer is, if it's a job, fine. You have the right to try to protect your job, as legal as it may be. But when it comes to Torah, if you're a lover of Hashem, you don't do what's good for you. You do what's good for Hashem. What's good for the people. If you're a lover of Hashem. Now, it may look that right now you're losing. Maybe you got fired, maybe this, maybe that. But if you're going to have patience, guarantee, it's not maybe, it's not 99%, it's not even 99.9%. Guarantee that it's just a matter of time until you cash big time on your reward. Big time. I'm telling you 100%. I know a guy, I don't want to start saying names, I don't want to insult anyone, but he's a working man. He's not a big chacham, he's not a big Talmud chacham, he's a religious person, probably more than 20 years Baal Tshuva. And from the minute I met this person, I liked him very much, even though we hardly have any personal relationship. We hardly have anything, we don't do anything personal. If ever we speak, it's about tshuva and lectures and CDs and things like this. But the way I like him more than the average others is because I saw that this person, he has pure heart. Everything he tries to do is really for the sake of heaven. I know one man like this, and I know one woman like this. And all the others, I have a big question mark in my heart about them. If they're really L'Shem Shamayim or not, only Hashem knows. But those two, I'm willing to swear that they're 100% pure. And this person, even though he's such a pure person and he's tried everything to do L'Shem Shamayim, any kind of help you will ask him, if it's for the sake of heaven, right away he will volunteer. Even if it costs him money, even if it takes hours of his time, even if he has to struggle a lot for it, he looks at that, I'm doing now for my Father in heaven, and it doesn't matter. He will help you organize, he will help you, anything you can think of, he will help you. However, when he needs help, all these, I don't want to say fakers, those who have double face, politicians, not only they don't help him, they put a stick in his wheel. He come and do something, I don't know what is it, jealousy, competition, money, I don't really know. It's not always the same answers. Instead of running to help him, which he does everything for the sake of heaven, They try to prevent him from progressing. So today we had a conversation, and I told him, I want to ask you a question. You know, you and I know each other for many years, and you know that I hold very highly of you. And Baruch Hashem, we get along very well. I want to ask you a question. Look how much you achieved in the last 3 years. How many thousands of people you reached without money, without budget, with all these fakers trying to prevent you from succeeding. How much you did? Don't you see that no matter what they're going to do, whether they help, whether they're going to go against you, in the end, Hashem is the one who does everything. Don't you see? Think about it. What was your chance 3 years ago to succeed with all these difficulties that you supposedly have? And look what you do. And where are all these fakers? Where are they? They're nothing. They only make noise. They're good with fundraising. They're good with making noise. How much they really do? I'm telling you, the world is very dirty place. Once in a while you find people that have a clean heart. They come for free. They don't charge. They're willing to get money out of their pocket to do the mitzvah. They put as much time. They respect every person equally, whether he's a Jew, whether he's a smart Jew, whether he's a foolish Jew, whether he's a wealthy one, whether he's a poor one, whether he's a goy, whether he's a beginner, whether he's the chief rabbi. You know, they'll give you their private number. They'll tell you, call you anytime. When you need help, they're going to call you back. You know, this is a servant of Hashem. All the other ones, just go be the prime minister. Go be in the Knesset. Sit over there, have a driver, have 5 helpers, and pretend that you do something. But Hashem, in the end, He knows who really does for Him and who does for his pocket, and who does for his honor, and who does for his fame, etc., etc. You know, there was one speaker, I don't want to go, like I say, I'm not giving you names so you won't know who I'm talking about. But there was one speaker who didn't allow his lecture to be downloaded. Barely is allowed to post them in the internet. Why? He knew he has no control. People would do it one way or the other. So he made a compromise. He said, okay, to listen I allowed, but to download they have to pay me for it. Baruch atah Adonai melech haolam she'akol niya bidvaro. So I heard they open a radio station. And the radio station is mainly to make Baalei Tshuva, to teach people Torah. So in between they play religious music, and they do a lot of great lectures. And one of the people who works in the radio station is a friend of mine. We also did some things together in the past. He calls me up, and he said, do you know that specific speaker? I say, yeah, I know. I mean, I don't know him that close, but, you know, we know each other. Yeah, what's the problem? He say he doesn't give us permission to play his thing on a radio because we have to download, and he doesn't allow downloading. We're not going to start paying for every lecture we want to put. We're just beginning. We don't have a budget, and we have some demands for some of his lectures. Maybe you can talk to him. I called him up, and he started to avoid me on the phone. Well, you know, you have to understand, I put a lot of time, this and that. Until I didn't really become strict with him on the phone, he didn't agree. Then when I started to tell him, you know, in a way, in a nice way, you should be ashamed of yourself. What are you doing? You want to make a few $100? That's what you came for the world for, to make a few $100 a week from your lectures? Don't you understand that one Jew will hear your lecture for free is already worth $1 billion? You worry about hundreds here, hundreds there. I told him, they are giving you an opportunity to display your lecture in front of thousands of listeners on air, and the internet could become one day millions. You know, there's so many people who are going to listen. You worry if they're going to pay you a few dollars for every day. What is this? Believe me, he got so embarrassed from me. I don't know if he did it because he realized that I'm saying the truth, or he just got embarrassed from me. One way or the other, he agreed in the end. And guess what? He agreed. And today I found out that he already have a weekly show, live show, and he love it. And he wants now, if he could, he wants to do a daily show. And he opened it up, he made him famous. Imagine how much he would lose. Yeah, he will make $2,000 or $3,000, let's say. if he would stick to what he wanted. You compare this to this, you have an opportunity that instead of 1,000 people that knows who you are, now it's going to become 10,000 in a month. And the next month will come 20,000. And the next month 50,000. And you understand what's going on here or no? I always wonder who should pay who what. You know, every time they play your song on the radio, you get money. Really, technically, it should have been the other way around. Oh, you're doing me a favor. You play my music. Why did I make this music? I wanted people to enjoy to see my talent, right? So it all depends who you are. If you're a beginner, you beg the radio to play your music. You even pay if you have to, right? It's like advertisement. Later, they beg you to play your songs. That's how it is, like everything else in life. So let's move on. So the Gemara says 4 people are considered like dead people. No offense, I'm only reading what the Torah say. Don't ever think that I mix my opinion here. I just read to you word by word. This is Gemara in Masechet Nedarim. 4 people are considered dead. What does it mean dead? Their options to achieve things is very limited. One, a very poor person. Poor person doesn't have any money, nothing. Why is considered dead? Does Hashem love him less than he loved the rich? Of course not. Who gave the rich person money? Hashem. Hashem gave you money and he didn't give him. Now he's going to like you more. For what? For what he gave you? It's not realistic. But why poor people consider in the Gemara that they helpless? Because even ordinary mitzvot, it's impossible for them to keep. He wants to give tzedakah. He wants to buy a book to learn Torah. He doesn't have money. He wants to eat glad kosher meal. It costs double than another meal. He cannot afford. He wants to donate to something. He can't. He wants tefillin. He can't. One day as his son is bar mitzvah, he doesn't have. So what's happening? He has to go and beg people to give him. Now when people donate, I wish they would give what they take for themselves. But that's not the case. When they give you tefillin, they'll give you barely kosher, if it is. Sometimes it's not even kosher. And if it's kosher, the lowest level. Why? When he wants to donate tefillin, he calls up the place, he says, give me the cheapest one you have. The worst quality, the writing is not pretty, doesn't matter. As long as you can call it kosher. And what does he do? He gives it out. A hero is someone who gives other exactly what he would want for him or for his son. No difference. You understand? So, it's a very big Yetzer Hara. Of course, you know, this is big Yetzer Hara. But the idea is that poor people are very limited. And because it hits their heart all the time, you look at me, I can't even do this. I can't even buy normal tefillin. I can't even pay this tutor to teach me Torah. I can't even put my son in a good yeshiva because I don't have the money. I can't even get married because whatever, all kinds of things. Then their life is so bitter that it's considered like being dead. You understand? It's considered. Of course, they'll get a huge reward for all the suffering they go through. Don't get me wrong. Believe me, they will earn sometimes more than the millionaires because of the frustration that they live with. Because every pain that a person gets for the sake of mitzvah, he gets paid for it. You just don't see it right away, but it's guaranteed, it's been wired to your account daily. When you go to Olam Haba, you see how much suffering you had and how much you're getting for it. Oh, wow, you'll be a very happy person. And everybody will say to Hashem, in that case, why you were so merciful to me? Why didn't you increase the suffering? If I see that I make so much, I wish you would give me much more. Anyway, it's over like a blink of the eye. What 70 years? Before I realized my life was over. What's the second thing? Metzorah. Someone who has leprosy. They isolate him. Today it's not such a common thing. But in the old days, people who spoke Lashon Hara, a few minutes later, their whole body has leprosy, like skin disease. They have to isolate them for a week, then they shave their hair, and they have to sacrifice, and the dove, and this, and the blood, and the Kohen has to say if they're pure or not pure. That's it. There's nothing they can do. They cannot participate with the community, nothing. So somebody like this obviously is considered like dead. A blind person, summa, all his life is one picture, black. He doesn't see anything else. No colors, no images, no faces, no words of Torah, cannot look at Torah. All his life is in the darkness. That's considered like a dead person. It's full of frustration. And the last one, someone who doesn't have children. And in case you are wondering if it's true or not, I will only let you listen to 2% of the bitterness that I hear when people call me to say about their situation when they don't have kids, what are they going through, how much they suffer, how much they try, and they go to treatment, and it's painful, and there's so many things, they have to fly, it costs fortune to try to have a kid. You have no idea what's going on. It's like, there's no words to really describe this kind of suffering. So since they always live with the feeling, look at me, Hashem, like Avraham Avinu is a good example. Even Avraham the Tzaddik, one time in his life he dared to complain to Hashem. Not about money, not about Ishmael, not about anyone. What did he complain about? Hashem, I don't have kids. I'm going to die soon. I'm 99. And I still don't have kids. He was 98 then. Then a year later he had a boy. And this servant of mine, Eliezer, is going to inherit everything I have. You couldn't give me one, to leave one, to continue my name after here. So you see that even Avraham Avinu, it bothers him, which was the ultimate believer in God, right? The monotheism, it's all thanks to Avraham, all over the world. And he suffered a lot that he didn't have a son. Why? Because he knew Ishmael is not his son, because his mother is a Goya. If you have a kid with a Goya, with a non-Jew, the kid is a Goy. It's not your son. He cannot inherit you in Olam Haba. It's not your continuation. You pay $100,000 for his college, you bought him a home, you put him into business, you paid for his surgeries, you did who knows what. And in the end, you come to Shamayim, you say, where is my son? Wait, where are you taking me? Where is my son? You say, which son? My son. Don't know any son. Well, what do you mean? His name is Yitzchak. Yosef. What, Yosef? We don't know any son. What do you mean? My son, the judge in the court. $2 million I put in his education. What are you talking about? We don't know any son of yours. You don't have any son. You're not married. What do you mean? My wife, Christine, 30 years. Yeah, we divorced already, but fine. We don't know. You don't have a wife. You don't have a children. So, someone who doesn't have children, no. Ani, now the Gemara brings the sources. Why these four? Because these four have sources in the Torah. Ki metu kol ha'anashim. Hashem said to Moshe, you can go back to Egypt. All the people who wants to kill you died. But it's not true. Some of them were alive. But they lost all their money. They cannot arm you. They don't have money. If you have a person who comes to attack you and you know he's a multi-millionaire, you know he has money, he has connection, he may be able to make you some damage, maybe. If a person is homeless and he threatens you that he's going to take actions against you, he's worried about the next lunch, if he's going to have or not. He has time to go and bribe people to go after you. He's not a threat. It's very simple. Then Metzora, leprosy, Sheneemar, it's Bamidbar, it says like this, Al na te'ika met, don't be like a dead, which talking about Metzora over there. Suma, it's a blind person. Dichtiv, Echa, this is an Echa. We read Echa in Tisha B'Av, Megillat Echa, it's a part from the Tanakh. What does it say over there? Echa Gimel, Echa 3. B'machshachim oshivani kemete olam. You put me in the darkness, I cannot see with all the dead people. It's like I'm dead, like them, I'm in their group. It's comparison between blind and dead. They're all in one group. Someone who doesn't have kids, that Rachel came to Yaakov and say, what's with you? Hava li banim. Give me kids. Give me children. Ve'im ayin meta anochi. And if you don't, I'm dead. And Yaakov got angry at her. He said, well, I'm God. You coming to me for children? I can give you children. That's one of the proofs that I use against all these fake babot. Give me $500,000. In 2 months, your daughter will be pregnant. Don't worry. We have a way. We do this. We do this. This Baba is not the finger dirt of Yaakov Avinu. Everybody agree, right? Even ask him, he will agree. That if he's lucky, maybe it's the dirt of his nail. You know, the little dirt that Yaakov Avinu has, you can take this Baba, maybe they're in the same level. Yaakov Avinu, Hashem speaks to him. Hashem told him, I'll protect you, I love you, your name will be Israel. I don't have to tell more, no? Yaakov said to Rachel, what do you ask from me? I cannot give you children. But all this babot, give me $500,000, 2 months, you're going to see I have twins. If you make it $1 million, triplets. What do you like them, blonde or black hair? And then later, you call, Rabbi, you promised me a kid. Who are you? Remind me your name. That's in the first time. Second time, please leave a message. 500 times. Please leave a message. 501. Oh, one day somebody picks up the phone. Yeah, no, it's busy now. Call back next month. What about my $500,000? There's no kids. Why it happens to people? They deserve it. Why they deserve it? Because they are foolish. They don't have da'at. The Gemara says someone who is a fool, don't have mercy on him. Why? If he wanted, he wouldn't be a fool. If he used his head, Hashem gave everyone heads. But if they will work on it, on their intelligence, they wouldn't be foolish. If they would think a little bit, they'll know that you cannot replace God with people. When you think that people will save you, Hashem say, you know what? I'll put you in the hand of this crook. You'll see what he's going to do to you. You understand? But if you trust me, I will send you the right rabbis that will give you bracha, and thanks to them, you'll have kids. But if you trust them, let them give you kids. Let them give you kids. No problem. All right, so let's go on. The Gemara continue, Leolam Amarav. Now we moved into Masechet Nazir. Very short things, and we move right away to Masechet Sotah. Nazir, only one thing. What is it? Amarav. Rav says, Leolam ya'asok adam b'torah u'b'mitzvot afilu shelo lishma. A person that have difficulties learning Torah. Lazy, his brain is rusty, his back is killing him, his wife is sucking his blood. Where are you? It's already 7. Dinner is served. I want to go learn Torah. Again? You promised to give me attention. She doesn't let him breathe, you know. You promised to take me to ice cream today. You promised to take me to pizza, to Chinese. It's my friend's cousin's birthday today. You know, where is he going to learn? And then after 15 years they marry. She called, Rabbi, I'm very disappointed from my husband. Why? You know, it seems to me that after 15 years, he goes to shul, he learns, he puts tefillin, he even say bracha when he eats, but he's a complete moron. He doesn't know anything. You know, the kid asks him a question from the parsha, he doesn't know what Rashi says, nothing. And she complains about him when she is 100% guilty of this situation. It's all her fault. And who she blames? Him. And the poor guy, he was soft. He surrendered to her strong character, and he replaced her with Hashem. She became his Hashem. Remember the Gemara that I read to you 2-3 months ago here? There's another person who his life is no life. What? Someone that his wife controls him. Yes. Yeah, remember that? But don't get me wrong. I don't want the men to go back now to their wives and say, didn't you hear the rabbi? Leave me alone. You don't need your wife to control you and to do. You have to do the right things, and then she would leave you alone. You have to understand, if a person wants to see his level, you have to look how his wife behaved to him. She's like the mirror. You move your arm, she moves her arm. You do something, she does the same thing. She rebel against you, that means Hashem is not happy from you. Why? The Gemara promise. ברצות השם דרכי איש גם אויביו ישלים עמו. When Hashem is satisfied from the way of a person, even his enemies surrender to him. The Gemara asks, who are those enemies? Who? Two answers. First answer, all the mosquitoes, all the flies who come and sting you and take away blood from you, they don't touch you. Why? Hashem is satisfied from you. Even a mosquito bite, you don't get. Why? Hashem is 100% pleased from you. When a mosquito comes all the way to you, Hashem goes like this. And he goes to the other wicked person and he takes blood from him. Why it didn't land on you? Because Hashem is 100% satisfied for you. Nobody can harm you. If a mosquito cannot touch you, no one else can do. It's needless to say. They give you the smallest damage that can happen, and it doesn't happen. Then the Gemara gives another answer. Who is the enemies of the person? His wife and his children. People are killing themselves to have kids. Then the kids come and beat them up and take away the car. Sit here, don't call. You touch me, I'll call the police. You're not going to tell me what to do, old man. Right? Right or wrong? Then you come to search for your son, 2 o'clock at night in a park with all the gang. And then you call him 500 times. Ignore, ignore, ignore. After you raised him 16, 17 years, what does he do to you? The Gemara knew what they talk about, no? But it's a little bit deeper than this. When you are righteous, of course they're not your enemies. When you are not clean, Hashem pays you measure for measure. You are my son, and you're making me very upset with the way you behave. Prayers are not prayers. Shabbat is not Shabbat. Learning Torah is not learning Torah. Honesty in a business is not honesty. So you are making me suffer, Hashem says, looking at my children, how they behave, how they betrayed me. Your kids does the same thing to you. All measure for measure. But when I'm happy from you, even if your son is Esav, he kiss your feet. See, remember, Esav was wicked, no? But Esav respect Yitzchak better than any person in history. Imagine, your son is the head of the mafia. The head of the mafia. But he respects you like you are God. What a contradiction. How can it be? This is a criminal. A gangster doesn't go together with a rabbi. The father is Yitzchak. The son is Esav, a hunter and a murderer and an idol worshipper. And raping girls. That's what the Gemara says about him. But with Yitzchak, nobody in a history respected his father like Esav respected Isaac, Yitzchak. What a contradiction. Why? Yitzchak didn't deserve to suffer from his son. You got the point here? But we suffer because either we didn't give them their necessary attention, we don't pray for them. The more you pray for your children, you show Hashem that you care about them. So when Hashem sees that you care, He has mercy on you. But if you don't care, you only care about your friends and your playing cards and vacations and where you're going to be in Pesach. Your son has problem, yalla, tutor, 2,000 a month, I have money, let the tutor take care of him. What else does he need? He needs attention, get him a nanny. What else does he need? He needs this, get him, send him to judo, karate. What else does he need? You know? He needs a father. What do you mean, send him here, get him this, do this for him, do this? As long as he doesn't have to do anything. Everybody does it. Go to your mother, why you come to me? That's what's going on here. No, so the Gemara say, if a person learns Torah not for the sake of heaven. Rabbi, it's boring. All day I'm playing Game Boys. Now I have to think, to break my head. The Gemara, this opinion, that opinion, contradiction. That. It's not for me, Rabbi. All my life I was playing in the backyard of the school, Game Boy. was watching movie on my iPhone, whatever. Now you want me to learn Abaye, Rava, Rabbi Akiva says. Nah, who cares what they say? I remember I had one businessman. I was making him religious. So I was trying to, I know he knows a lot about business, about companies. He has a head, this guy. I used to meet with him once a week to learn an hour before my lecture, one-on-one. And then when we used to learn Gemara, I bring him this opinion, that opinion. He say, you know what, from next time, why don't you just tell me the bottom line? I'm not interested to know how they reach that verdict. I just want to know what needs to be done, that's it. Why do people have to learn how they reach this halacha, this opinion, that opinion? I don't need all this. Just tell me the last thing. What's the right way? This, fine, no problem. I told you, you don't understand. This is what Hashem wants you. Hashem wants you to dig and go inside His Torah and His wonderful world and expose more and more and more things. And it's the brilliance of this divine thing what we call Hashem. And you want only to know the bottom line. You're not interested. Why is it? Television, sport, women, vacations, watches, new car every 2 months, internet. Now you wonder why he doesn't want to learn. No, of course. So, the Gemara says, because if he learn not for the sake of heaven, after a while, slowly, it becomes for the sake of heaven. What is it like? A person doesn't like to eat something. Take a vegetarian person. I don't want meat. No, it's disgusting. No meat. No meat. What happens if you force him to eat a good steak once? Maybe in the first time he vomits. Second time, a little more. Second time, after 10, 20, 30 times, that steak is not so bad after all. What happened? After the actions, the Torah say, follows the heart. Every time you suffer a little more until you get used to it, and then there's a breaking point. From now on, you begin to enjoy. I couldn't stand that. Now it became my favorite food. I have a friend, vegetarian. Every time he comes to me, I try to fool him and sneak some meat into his salad, something. And then after he eats it, I see how was the salad? Wow, great. I say, you see, he just ate meat. No, don't tell me that. Say, it's all in your head. It's all in your head. It's Yom Tov. You have to eat meat today. So far, I'm not successful because he comes once in a while. And if it will be steady, after 2-3 weeks, say, you know what? Every time I come here, I eat meat. It's not so bad after all. A Jew has to eat meat, at least on Shabbat and on Yom Tov.
Really? Because when I learned it years ago,
Yeah.
I was told that a vegetarian, if somebody really does not enjoy meat, that they don't have to eat meat.
True. If a person suffers from it, then it's not Simchat Yom Tov. But the ultimate way, what is it? The halacha say, En simcha ela bebasar veyain. There is no happiness to the spirit of a person unless if he eats good meat and drink good wine. The French knows it. The Italians know it. The Americans now know it. Right? The Jews always knew it. They know what they're doing. Once in a while you have someone like this, fine. Well, in China they eat worms from a cup. They enjoy worms. They take the worms are still alive. They move like this in a cup. They grab it. They open their mouth in the middle of the ocean. In the middle of the market, somebody comes with a bicycle. Begin to eat the worms. If you only see how they enjoy it, better than the way the guys lick the sushi here on Main Street. Yemenite used to eat grasshoppers, not all of them, one kind. They know by looking at the stomach and the signs. They have it in tradition. You see, if you pay attention, all the Yemenite food is very cheap food. It's all based on flour and water. Why? It was very difficult to make expensive food in Yemen because it was a very poor country. So all their food is jachnun, all dough. Melawach, all dough. Fatut, all dough. And grasshoppers, free of charge. How does grasshoppers taste? You fry it with a little oil, exactly like French fries. How do I know? Not that I tasted. Don't suspect me. I spoke to some Yemenite that came from Yemen a few years ago, and they said that it tastes exactly like French fries. You fry it in a pan. The only problem that you have is those two in the top like this. Can't even believe it. All right, anyway, let's move on. The Gemara says like this. Shh. If you do not for the sake of heaven, it's better not to do at all. It's better than not doing at all. Right? So it's better to do 50% than nothing. Okay. Then eventually become for the sake of heaven. Why? 42 sacrifices that Balak, who was Balak? The king of Moab, right? He called Bilam to curse the Jews, to help him out. He was the prophet of the Goyim. How many sacrifices he sacrificed to Hashem to help him hurt his children? I don't know how these Goyim sometimes think. Balak is sacrificing 42 sacrifices to who? To Hashem. For what? To help him go against Hashem children. Imagine someone comes to me, Rabbi, I'll give you $42. I want you to help me go destroy your son. No? That's what they do. The Arabs, who do they pray to destroy the Jews? Oh. To the same God. What's Allah? The same Allahu Akbar. God is great. Same God. God of Abraham. Where they heard about God? In the Torah. If the Torah wouldn't given to the Jews, the Arab wouldn't know there's God in heaven. They learn it from us. Same thing Christian. Christians made him a partner. You know? Anyway, let's move on. So the 42 sacrifices that he sacrificed to Hashem, this King Balak, in the end, it helped him. Why? Ruth, the grandmother of King David, came from him. Ruth a Moabiyah, from the nation of Moab. So somehow he is a grandfather of the grandmother of King David, of the founder of the Messiah. That comes from Ruth, from King David. Messiah, son of David, right? And who is his grandmother? Ruth. And who is her grandfather? This Balak. What mitzvah he did that after all his descendants one day will become the Messiah? 42 sacrifices to Hashem. But it wasn't for the sake of heaven. He wanted to gain a personal gain. He didn't do it for Hashem. He wanted Hashem to allow him to win the Jews in a war. He didn't do it for the mitzvah. He did it for bad reason. If for bad reason it benefit him, it's needless to say when you do it for the sake of heaven, how much reward you're going to get. You got the point here? Very interesting. Then the Gemara continued. The Amar Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina. Who was Ruth? Granddaughter of Eglon. Who is Eglon? King of Moab. No. Amar Rabbi Chia Bar Abba. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. How do we know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu reward people even for a positive conversation? Not actions. Just a positive conversation. Ah, I love Hashem. Ishtabach Shemo. Bless God. God is great. No, what did he say? Just for that, he gets a huge reward. What is it? Where? How do we know? That Lot, who is Lot? The nephew of Avraham Avinu. Lot, after Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed, he got saved with his two daughters. His wife turned around, she looked at Sodom, she became pillar of salt. Right? So now Lot and his two daughters survive. It looked like after a nuclear attack. Imagine you have a nuclear attack. 3 people survive in Nagasaki or Hiroshima. No internet, no telephone, no television, no newspaper, nothing after a nuclear attack. There's nothing. You left somewhere in the middle of the desert. what are you thinking? The world came to an end. They do not know that it's only in a limited area. For them, the whole world is destroyed. Who left? Me and my 2 daughters, Lot and his 2 daughters. So now the daughter said, we better have kids from our father, because once we die, there are not going to be people. Now remember, this was before the Torah was given. Even though the Gentiles already knew from 4,200 years ago they're not allowed to have relation with their relatives. That's what God said to Noah after the flood. And Moab and all this is like 900 years after. So everybody knew. But now was for the sake of heaven. If we're not going to do it, the world is over. So they meant for the sake of heaven. But, listen good. The first one called the baby that was born Moab. What Moab means? From my father. That's what it means. Av, it's a father. Me, it's from. Me'av, Moab. That's it. So everybody who come and say, what's your name, little boy? Moab. Oh, you came from your mother and your father is father and daughter? By the name, people know about the forbidden relation. The second one didn't call him Moab or anything Av. She called him Ammon. Ammon means Am. It's somebody from my nation. It's also not so great, but at least it's not nobody knows it's from a Gilui Arayot, right? So she said Ammon from Ami. It's among us. He came to the world from the big family of Ammon. Now the Gemara says, Hashem say to Moshe, Deuteronomy 2, don't disturb the nation of Moab and don't start a war with them. So the Gemara say, war you don't have permission to do. But to upset them, you're allowed. Which means to give them hard time, you have permission. But to start a real war, you don't have permission. But in the nation of Ammon, that's the second daughter that called it for my nation, not for my father. Hashem say to Moshe, don't ambush them, don't disturb them, don't do anything to them, not even sorrow. Why? What's the difference? This is goyim, this is goyim. They're both enemies. Why here like this? Discrimination. Why? Look at the conversation of the mothers. One say, I will call my son Moab for my father. And one say, no, it's not modest. I'll call him for my nation. That's all. What's the difference? Come on, what's the difference? The difference is that thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, I don't know, a massive amount of people, it's a whole nation, did not suffer for one extra word of the mother. Now you understand the power of speech or no? For one extra word of the mother, the whole nation going to have a hard time. Why? Not so much modesty. Not enough modesty. Over here it's more modest, no suffering for you. It's amazing. Amazing how precise is the judgment of Hashem. And there are people walking out there, Hashem, what's going on? Nothing happened. No, the Gemara continue. Rabbi Omer, why we read the chapter of a monk, of a Nazir, right next to a woman who cheated on her husband? It's similar, it's close in the Torah. One right after the other. Why? To teach you, every time there are two subjects close one to each other in the Torah, there is a connection between them. It's not a coincidence. What is it? Everyone who see a woman that is cheating and doing bad things with their relationship with her husband, right away will make a vow not to touch wine anymore. What's the reason that women cheat on their husband? They're going to have a glass of wine with friends from high school. Glass of wine, we call it. The wine begins, then her head starting to go somewhere else. The next thing, she has a mamzer. You understand? Why is it? So that's why when you saw it, Why did I have to see this married woman who cheated on her husband? Why did I have to see it? That means Hashem is sending me a message. What is it? Well, in the Torah, one next to the other. Wine, the Nazir cannot touch wine, not drink wine, cannot eat grapes, cannot eat raisin, anything to do with the grape tree, he cannot touch. That's a part of, and then they don't cut their hair, whatever. But that's called Nazir. And right next to it, a woman who cheated on her husband and he had to take her to the Kohen. They write the name of Hashem, 72 letters on a cloth like a mezuzah. He puts it in the water, the ink goes in, the woman drinks it. If she cheated, her wounds explode. If she didn't, the Kohen gives her a blessing that all her children will be righteous. This is how it used to be. Then the Gemara continues. The Gemara says, Rish Lakish says, in Masechet Sotah, we're starting now Masechet Sotah. אין מזווגים לו לאדם אישה אלא לפי מעשיו. A person gets a wife according to his spiritual level. If your level will be higher, your wife will be better. If your level will be lower, your wife will be worse than what you have. Why your wife is like this? She is 60% because you are 60%. It can be 62, 59, same league. It cannot be exactly the same thing. No two people are 100% equal. It's always going to be a change. But in the same league, when you take basketball teams, by looking at their level, you know in which league to put them right away. You know, yeah, one team is better than the other, but they belong in the same league. Same thing here. The Gemara continue. The Gemara say, Amar Rabbi Rabba Bar Bar Chana, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. It's hard to make a matchmaking, two soulmates together, like splitting the ocean in the Exodus of Egypt. That's how difficult it is for Hashem. Why is it? The Gemara asks, how can it be? Rabbi Yehuda says in the name of Rav, there's a contradiction here. Don't we know that 40 days before the baby become a person, 40 days it takes for a person from the night the husband and the wife were together, after 40 days it becomes a boy or a girl and it becomes a complete person. 40 days. If a person made an abortion, a woman made an abortion in the first 40 days, or after 40 days, there's a big difference. None of them is permitted. None. But after 40 days is a complete murder. Before 40 days, it wasn't a complete murder. And the level of the sin is much lower. Why? Because there was no human being. Of course, you're stopping a process of someone who is developing into a human being. But once he did not have the soul yet, and did not have the pulse and the brain and the intelligence, what makes a person, it was just like a bunch of meat. There was nothing yet. It's like a few crumbs there. So over there is not as bad. In rare occasions, like such as rape and all kinds of things like this, or if there's risk or health or anything like this, they may even get permission to make it legal up to 40 days. After 40 days, it's a murder. It's no a woman that makes most abortions, unfortunately, by the time a woman finds out she's pregnant, she has to be at least a month. Why? Because until she realizes, sometimes she may have 2 or 3 days before the 40 days that she realizes. And if she doesn't do it then after that is a complete murder according to all opinions. Most women, by the time they find out, because they wait a week to see, because sometimes they have, delay. They wait. By the time they know for sure they're pregnant, after the blood test and everything, it's more than 40 days. That's why 99.9% of the abortions in the world are complete murders. Jews are not allowed to commit an abortion. What about Gentiles? Also not allowed. What happens if a Jew had relation with a non-Jewish woman and the kid is not a Jew? There is no permission whatsoever to perform an abortion. Nowhere in history God gave permission to Jews to murder non-Jews. Unless if they come to attack you because they want to destroy you. Everyone has permission to destroy his destroyer first. Nothing to do with Jew, non-Jew. Even between two Gentiles. He comes to kill me, like in Texas. You go into someone's property at 2 o'clock at night. He sees you walking in his backyard. He takes a gun and shoots you, and he's completely innocent. Not even a trial. Why? You were found dead on his own property. It almost happened to my friend. He used to work in movings. And they arrived all the way to Texas in the middle of the night. These big ranches over there. And they went to, there's no addresses like here, one next to the other. It's not so crowded over there. And they came to the wrong house with a big semi-trailer full of furnitures. When did they arrive? 1 o'clock at night. And my genius friend didn't know Texas. And he knocked on the door. And a redneck man opened up the door with a machine gun to his face. Like this. And my friend said, don't shoot. I'm a moving. Who are you looking for? He got saved. What happened if he would shoot? He would say to the police, he came to attack me. He's in my property, 1 o'clock at night. It's legal. It's legal to have weapon over there. Even in Arizona, everyone goes with a gun. When I go there, all the people who buy and sell gold, they have guns. You just don't have permission to show the gun. It has to be covered like a bottle of beer. You want to drink beer, fine, but make sure it's in a bag. That's similar to the abortions. When it's covered with the stomach, flesh, it's permitted to murder. Once it comes out, no permission to murder.
A woman's though, if their life is in danger, because they still perform the abortion after 4 days, right?
From what law it comes? If the life of a woman is in danger, then it's considered that the baby is coming after her to kill her. He becomes an immediate threat to her life. Everyone who becomes a threat to our life, we have permission to kill him first. Why? Because if not, he's going to kill us. However, if his head came out, even partially, and even though there is still a risk once we pull him out that the wife will die, once his head came out, there's no permission to kill him, even if the life of the wife is still in a risk. Why? Because we have no permission to kill one person to save the other. Once he came out, that's it. It's considered born. But as long as he's inside, it's considered an integral part, like an organ in a woman's body. An organ that is about to kill a woman, like a kidney. Let's say a kidney has cancer in it. If you don't remove the kidney, in 2 weeks the woman will be dead, because it's expense to all the body. So what's the solution right now? To get the kidney out. You know, I'll tell you a story that happened in Israel 2 or 3 years ago. Fresh, not a long time ago. One woman she had problem with her kidneys. One of them wasn't working. And in a surgery, they had to remove it. And guess what? They removed the healthy kidney. The wrong kidney, they remove. Yeah. Then, after they removed the wrong one, the doctor said, well, what did we do? We made a mistake. Now she has one kidney left, which is, it needs dialysis, what do you call it? Dialysis, yeah. As they took it out, they're thinking now to transplant it back in. You know, because now, yes, the question is, they have to make, it's already out, so they do a regular check. They found that the kidney that they took out was full of cancer. Nobody knew that she has cancer. Hashem confused the doctors and they removed the other kidney. If they would remove this one, 2 weeks later she'll be dead anyway, because now she has one kidney is full of cancer. So now she sued the doctor for $150,000 for malpractice. And the doctor came say, look at the nerve of this woman. I saved her life and she came after me. What do you think the verdict was? Now I'm not going to tell you. I want you to make homework until the next lecture. The doctor came to take one kidney and he made a mistake and took the wrong one out. Later they found out that retroactive really saved their life. Right? He made a stupid mistake, malpractice, but thanks to that, now she got her life back. You understand? So now, let me give you the options. One option is not guilty at all. He doesn't have to give her any money. Second option, she has to give him money. Third option, he has to give her 150,000, what she wants.
Insurance company controls.
No, forget insurance. We are talking in Beit Din, in Jewish Beit Din. Jewish Beit Din. It's really in Beit Din. It was in Israel. It happened in Israel. Fourth thing is, he has to give her a partial payment. Partial payment. Or none of the above. So you have 5 options. Let's see which one is the right answer. Huh? I know Jews don't have patience. I say next lecture, already everybody answered. 2 minutes later. You know, on a plane landing in Israel, a week before Christmas, it was when Christmas and Hanukkah fell in the same week. So the pilot say, ladies and gentlemen, please stay seated. Do not untie your seatbelt until a complete parking of the plane. Then after 2 minutes, there were many people already standing, getting their things, turning their cell phone on, even though he said not to do so. So after 2 minutes, the captain comes and say, to those of you who are sitting in their places, have a Merry Christmas. For those of you who are standing and turn their cell phone on, have a Happy Hanukkah. You know, Rabbi Lastri is the best, is the funniest man. If you understand Hebrew, you can sit and laugh from morning to night from his shows that he gives in seminars. Rabbi Lastri, one of the jokes he says, I was in Mexico City. I needed to buy something, so I went to the supermarket. 25 people waiting online. So I say, how do I know which one of them is Israeli? How do I know? He say, this is how it is. You come, you stand online, you look at all the people. The one who goes like this, you know is Israeli. Why? He's planning an attack. What excuse will I come with that I skip the whole line? Excuse me, I have a plane to catch. That reminds me about a joke that there was a huge line to open a store. The owner of the store didn't come yet. So they're all waiting online. So one guy comes, he stands online. After a minute, he says, I can't stand here, let me go. So he starts to cheat. He goes all the way, he passed the whole line, he comes to the front. There was a very big guy in the front. He looks at him, hey, where are you? He took him, threw him all the way to the end of the line. This guy cleaned the dust. He comes all the way again. This time he gave him a punch. Boom, he made him fly all the way to the end of the line. Third things he comes. So the big guy said, what, you want to get killed? What's the story with you? He said, listen, one more time you make me fly, I will not open my store today. The owner of the store. All right, now let's move on. Time is running out. We have 15 minutes left, so that's a problem. Then it says like this. It said, the Gemara say, 40 days before the baby is created, there is an echo who announces who is going to marry who. So what are you saying now that based on how you behave, that's who's your wife going to be? It was already announced before I was born. Nothing to do with my actions. It's a contradiction, no? The Gemara asks. The answer is no kashya, no contradiction. Here is in the first match, here is in the second match. What's the first match, second match? The secret, according to Kabbalah here, when Hashem created the world, He took the soul of Adam and split it to many different souls, right? More and more souls. Souls can continue to split unlimited. It's not like physical. You take 1 pound, you cut it in half, it's become 2 halves. You cut it again, it's 4 quarters. You cut it again, it's 8/8. No. Soul, you can cut as much as you want and it stays the same. It's not physical. It's an energy. It's like a candle. You take matches, 1,000,000 matches from a candle. Did he take away the amount of the fire from the candle? It's still the same amount of fire. Even though you took a lot of fire, now it's fire all over the city from one candle. Doesn't matter. He didn't take away anything from the candle. So it's similar. The idea of spirituality is very similar to fire. So the idea here is, when all the souls were brand new, they're all crystal clean, pure, no stains, no sins, no nothing. How does Hashem decide who is going to marry who? Soul A, soul B, soul C, D, E, F, G. Now he has to match them in the beginning. It's all a decree. Like we say, Russian roulette. The wife or the daughter of this to the son of this. Why? They're all equal. Everyone is equal. Everyone can marry everyone. But Hashem knows how to make a perfect match because everyone is equal. After the second reincarnation, no one is equal anymore. You understand? Because you lived here 78 years. When you were created, you were clean completely. Then after one life, one guy's 50, one guy's 30, one guy's 20, one guy's 80. You don't put 80 and 30 together. He's a big rabbi and she's a complete ignorant person. It doesn't go together. They won't have anything in common. Or this and that. So now after that, it depends who you are. Only in the beginning, there was this decree. That's why today, on every date that they offer you, you have to go. Why? How do you know? Maybe she's your soulmate. No, I don't want this nationality. And maybe Hashem wants you to marry this nationality. That's your soulmate. The Stipler, the father of Rav Chaim Kanievsky, explained it even better. What did he say? He said, even today there is an announcement. There is an announcement. When Hashem decides that you're going to get married, when He decides that now it's the time for you to get married, He announced from the league that you're in. Which league you in? League A? All the women that are in that league, He announced she's going to be your soulmate. If you're in League C, which means you went higher, in a higher level, He announced in which league, which one is going to be your wife. You reach all the way to Z, you Moshe Rabbeinu, He find you Tzipora. She's in your league. You understand the idea here? So, it doesn't eliminate your free choice. You still determine which one of the wives will be yours. Because you, based on your efforts, you elevated your soul or destroy your soul. One of the two. If you destroy your soul, you ended up with a wicked woman. Prutza. What does the Torah say? Now here is the time for me to emphasize one very important thing. The Torah say, Rashi explained based on the oral Torah, it says, מזווגים לו לאדם זיווג לפי מעשיו, a person gets his soulmate according to his actions. Rashi writes, צנועה לצדיק, פרוצה לרשע. Translation, a modest woman to the righteous person, and a not modest woman to the wicked person. I don't understand. A wicked man with a wicked woman. A righteous man with a righteous woman. That's not what the Torah says. A righteous man with a modest woman. A not righteous man with a prostitute. What do you see from here? That's what woman is all about. You are modest, you're righteous. You're not modest, there's no chance for you to be righteous. Well, but I keep Shabbos. Very good. You sleep and snore on Shabbos, eat, take a walk in a boardwalk, and I'm righteous. Walking half naked on the street 70 years, with a $1 million wig, I'm righteous. In your dream, you are righteous. In your dream, you are righteous, yes. How do you know if a woman is righteous? Not how she dresses in the house. In the house, she's not embarrassed from anyone. So she covers the head, she covers herself, because anyway, nobody sees her. In a wedding, that's their biggest yetzer hara. I know women, they'll never wear a wig, only when they go on a wedding. Why? That's already too much for me. If a woman goes with her hair covered completely to a wedding, or with a hat or anything, I'm not saying she has to be ugly. She can put a beautiful hat, no problem. But no hair comes out, then you know she's modest. Don't check in a house. Check in a fancy place. Everybody with their $5,000 wigs, and she, the same $2 cover, tichel, whatever you call it.
But Ashkenazim wear wigs, even very full.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't think that in heaven or in hell they have discrimination between Sephardim and Ashkenazim. I also don't think that there are two different laws of modesty for Ashkenazi women or for Sephardi women. I think, and I promise you that I'm right, that modesty has nothing to do with the color of your skin or your accent or where you were born. It's either because the body of the woman and her hair is the same all over the world. If a woman is modest, it can be in every country. If the woman is not modest, she's not modest. She's going to come to Hashem, but I was Ashkenazi.
Yeah.
I had permission to wear this wig in your dream.
Hey, you don't believe that any wigs are allowed?
Listen good. I don't want to get into it because this is an argument between the biggest giants rabbis in the world, but I can only tell you that the biggest Ashkenazi rabbi, among them the biggest posek in the world, Rav Vosner, and also Rav Eliashiv, is the top authority in the Ashkenazi world, are completely against wigs. If you don't believe, I'll show you the writings, how much they speak against it. You understand? So, some Ashkenazi ones apparently allow it, obviously. There's always somebody to depend on. But I tell you what it's like. What is it like? You want to invest $1 million in a stock market. You have 300 experts that tell you, don't touch that stock, it's going to crash any moment. And there's 2 or 3 who say, no, that's a very good company. Oh, it's no problem, there's no reason to panic. Do you know anyone who would put money in this company based on the word of 3 or 6 or 7 when you have 300 world experts say, be careful, it's going to be a total crash? When it comes to money, Rabbi, but there are 4 or 5 experts who say it's not such a bad company after all. I don't know, I don't want to hear about them. Why? There's such a big expert. Rabbi, when there's a doubt is a fire. I'm running away from fire. But when it comes to wig, that rabbi allowed, this rabbi allowed. I want to tell you something. Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, was the top Ashkenazi posek 20-30 years ago. Top. He said, when the first woman came to Yerushalayim with a wig, this was about 50 years ago. He's talking about 50 years ago. The first Ashkenazi women, because it was all Sfaradim, all Bukharian, Iraqi, Persians, all of a sudden Ashkenazi started to come also to Yerushalayim in waves. So he said when the first woman came to Yerushalayim with the wig, they stood and threw stones at her, the people. And they started to scream to her, Pritzus, Prutza. And he said, Rav Auerbach, even a blind person saw that is a wig. It didn't look like human hair like today. Say, even if you were blind, you will see this is that's a shmate wig, doesn't worth $2, like a wool of a sheep, like covering your head like with a funny thing. Yeah, it wasn't hair like today. $5,000 made in Italy with imported Indian Avodah Zarah hair from India. No, it was real garbage. Mamash looked like a bush. Bush from wool, wool, like a sponge. That's how it looked. And they threw stones at her. Get out of here, we don't want. 2 generations later, like this. I tell you something. Speaking about wigs, I didn't plan to speak about this controversial issue. Because I know women hate to talk about it. The truth hurts to everyone, not only to women. When men hear about his problem, you also feel bad. Speak about smoking in front of smokers, see how they get angry. All the non-smoker is right. Yes, it's a sin from the Torah. What the Torah says, you have to watch your health. And all the smokers, no, you didn't understand. That's not what he meant. Why nobody can be objective? You have to say, you're right, I'm a smoker and I'm a loser. because this cigarette runs my life. And he writes, if you say in the name of this rabbi that it's a sin from the Torah, you are right. And I hope that one day I'll be able to stop. That's what you have to say. Who said? No, you didn't understand him. He didn't talk about those who already smoke. He was talking about somebody who will start to smoke. He's not allowed. But someone who's already smoking is very hard to stop, you know. Just say the truth. The truth hurts. So I tell you, you know, when they came out and said that all the wigs are hair from Avodah Zarah. In India, the women shave their hair and put it to Buddha or to the other gods that they have over there. So when they found out, there was big noise in Bnei Brak. So one woman came to a class, teacher, in Bet Yaakov. First time she came with a cover, always had a wig. When she came into the class, the girls, high school, they all look at her, 12 years old. It was a class of 12-year-old. They all look at her. They couldn't recognize her because she always came with her fancy wig. When she came into the class, she said, as I said to her, what happened? She said, didn't you hear? Rav Eliashiv said that all these wigs are not kosher. It's all come from Avodah Zarah, from idols worshipping. Anything that was put in front of an idol, no permission to enjoy it in any way. Has to be destroyed from the face of the earth. So now I'm going to put it on my brain, on my neshama. Right away, I took it out. So one girl in a class, right away took her wig off and stayed with a bald head. And everybody found out that she's sick with cancer. And nobody knew. She had a wig. She's going to chemo after school every week. And they look at the girl and she says, if Rav Eliashiv says it's not kosher, how can I stay with that another minute? Look at these hero girls. This is a good example. This is something to imitate. She could have waited another 3 hours until she get home and make a different arrangement, get some synthetic wig or something, no? But another minute I won't stay with this Avodah Zarah on my head. I get a big embarrassment. Everyone will see me bald. 12 years old girl, take her wig off and everybody see a bald girl. Do you understand the embarrassment here or not? Like for a woman to show herself bald, it's a big thing. Hashem's come more better than my pride, my ego. First Hashem. With all the pain, first Hashem. That's a hero. Hashem comes before me. If we get to this level, we are good, I promise you. If you come before Hashem, not good. This is what Pirkei Avot say, Aser etzoncha kirtzono. Make your wishes as his wishes. He wants Shabbat, make your wishes Shabbat, I can't wait. He wants modesty, only modesty. He wants glad kosher, strictly kosher. Hashem, only kosher I want. I don't want anything half and half. He wants this, he wants Torah, I want Torah. You become like a duplication of Hashem. Whatever you wish, it's basically what Hashem wished. That's a perfect person. Today is the opposite. First a person makes his wishes. What do I want? I want a good heavy belly. Steak, sushi, this. Now let's see. This kosher? That's okay, it's kosher. Give me. That rabbi say it's okay. This wig? Wow, beautiful. But this rabbi and this rabbi, they say it's direct to hell. Direct with this wig. But that rabbi say it's okay. No problem, give it to me. One person came to Rav Eliashiv with his tefillin. He paid, this was 20 years ago, $1,500 for his tefillin. It's like more than $2,000 today. He didn't know me. I could give it to him for a third of the price. But that was 20 years ago, and I was still a kid. So he comes with his tefillin. He said, Rav Eliashiv, I bought this tefillin. It's very special. I paid $1,500, and now they told me it's not kosher. I went to a second opinion. So he told me it's kosher. I started to get confused. So I went to a third opinion. He said it's kosher bediavad, which means after the act, you can look at that as kosher, but barely. You know, like there's problems. Barely kosher. So he goes like this. Rabbi, I got so scared. No. I mixed up the whole story. Rav Eliashiv was the third person. One person told him not kosher. One person told him kosher. Now Rav Elyashiv told him kasher b'diavad. After he was done, you know, to say it's not kasher, you cannot say. To say it's kasher, it's very difficult. No. So he said, Baruch Hashem. So he was about to leave. Then Rav Elyashiv screamed to him, it's kasher b'diavad. He looks at him, but it's kosher, no? He said, barely. So he doesn't understand. He said, you want to have all your life mitzvah tefillin barely? What kind of Yerei Shamayim you are? What kind of lover of Hashem you are? Barely. Barely. A person that wants to be a good actor, if he got 56 on a test, he passed. If he's a complete loser, most important thing, I passed my exam. If he's intelligent and wants to do good, he goes again on a test. I don't want with 56 to be a doctor. I want with 95. That's what I want. What kind, you know, like I heard that one time they made a commercial that a person come to get a job. They said, we heard you have a master in law, master degree. So he said, yeah, בהצטיינות, he says. I was extra good. He said, in what school? When he said the name of the school, they put the paper, the resume, in a shredding machine. It looks very good. In what school? As soon as we say the name of the school, get out of here. They put him in a shredding machine. We have mamash a minute, so let's just finish this. So, remember, one is in the first reincarnation, when everyone was clean, and Hashem announced. Second, now it depends who you are. And the Stipler Ed, he says, still, there's no contradiction. Yeah, it depends who you are, but even who you are, you still have many options, and Hashem announced. She is not for you, she is for you. But it's all your fault that you got to this situation. We finish for today, and Be'ezrat Hashem, next week, I'm just going to give you a quick preview. We're going to speak about a person, every mitzvah that a person does is going to heaven and has a title. And when a person dies, this mitzvah, it's presentation of an angel. It comes and it says, my name is such and such. I was created in that day by this person, in this place. And they show how he did that mitzvah. And this is all the defense in your trial. Every mitzvah, it's a defense. And every sin is the same thing, a black angel that waits for you to come and be the prosecutor against you. Now everybody understands that the more defense you have compared to prosecutors, the better your situation is. If you have more prosecutors, then your situation is not good. And this is what the Torah says about Yosef HaTzadik. He did not want to touch the wife of Potiphar even once, because a Jew goes with a Goya. She tied to him for the next world forever. There is no way to get rid of her. It's an embarrassment forever that a Jew rebelled against Hashem and went with a foreign woman from a different nation, even though the Torah said, the Torah was very strict about it, and the Torah says that there is no permission to do it. Yosef was afraid that she will be tied to him, and that's why he was struggling not to touch her. This is, and you know, we have a lot of interesting things for next week. Please don't, actually, as a matter of fact, I wanted to tell you that next Wednesday I won't be here. So the following Wednesday, which is the last Wednesday before Pesach, there will be a final shiur. I'm going to Canada early in the morning on Thursday morning, so I won't be able to be here on the Wednesday night. So remember, please, everyone that here, remember, Wednesday in 2 weeks, I'm going to come back here. Wednesday in 2 weeks, okay? Thank you very much. We'll continue then.